Hey, I want to welcome everyone to another edition of our Halftime Chat R&B Podcast live. Normally it's on a Sunday, but today it is on a Saturday. As usual, we've got myself and Mr. Stevie Street. But we're really happy and proud to introduce a guest, um, Lorena from... Is it Lorena or Lorena?
Lorena.
Lorena, right. Lorena from Total R&B. And Stevie and I will go a little bit into her channel and what she does. It is definitely amazing. But we're glad she's coming to join us today from all the way from sunny Canada. Sunny Canada. Anyway, Lorena, it is definitely a pleasure to have you on board. Um, and probably you can just tell us a little bit about Total R&B and how it was set up because Stevie and I have followed you on the Instagram as well.
No, of course. Well, thank you for the invite. I love watching this. So to be a part of it, it's really exciting. But yeah, Total R&B is my podcast, and I mainly interview rising R&B artists. Sometimes I get to interview people that are within the industry, like media personalities, just to see their perspective and how they grew their careers as well. And just giving them a platform to share their stories. A lot of media outlets, especially in Canada, they don't cover R&B, unfortunately. So our artists don't really have places to speak about their music and their career. So I want to offer them that. And then also I get to interview a lot of rising R&B artists from the US as well.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, she is, yeah, it's really great just to see continually giving a platform to R&B and new R&B artists. I think, Stevie, you've tried in the past to try and get up and come in R&B acts, and it's not as easy as it is.
Now I've got to give Lorena her flowers because I know how difficult it is. I mean, on radio, I've always tried to get UK R&B artists. I've tried to plug them, get live interviews with them, but I don't know what it is. They just don't seem as passionate to what I see in, say, a Nigerian artist or an American artist. But Lorraine's put me on some great artists. There was an artist called, is it Girlfriend, that you interviewed recently? Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So, to see what you're doing, I was actually at some point going to say, let's combine what you do over in Canada with what we do over in the UK and you could put us onto some Canadian American artists and we can put you onto some UK artists. I mean, maybe that's for another podcast. We maybe talk about that, but you deserve a lot of flowers for what you do. And I know it's not easy,
Thank you. But I love that idea.
It's tough. In today's R&B market.
Definitely.
So it's the Total R&B Podcast, isn't it? On YouTube, that's your channel.
Yeah, and we will we'll share the link to her YouTube channel shortly. But I want to welcome Derek from Minneapolis. Welcome, Old School Flavor. Welcome. Sagittarius Robinson. Welcome, Tanya, my good friend out in Germany. Welcome, Lakeisha Cole. Welcome. Do you know what? Everyone is aware of Jade's "Don't Walk Away" massive mega 90s R&B signature single, but I don't know how many people, Hopeful, how you doing, really listened to the full album. And I must give you, hold my hands up to say, I've heard a few songs before, but this was the first time I really had the full album, and I was pleasantly surprised. I'll probably start with you then, Lorena. What did you make of this album?
Well, it's the same. I've heard a few tracks from when I was younger, but I've never listened to the full album. So this is the first time that I've got to do that for the past week. And I was pleasant, like I wasn't surprised, but I really enjoyed the album. So it was hard for me to do this, to place them in a order. So I had a lot of trouble. I like every time I listen, I would switch spots, but it's a really good cohesive album.
Yes. Stevie, what did you think?
I'm kind of kicking myself because at the time, all the singles were coming out and I was buying the singles and I was hearing them on the radio and I was going to clubs at the time. seeing being played. I didn't buy the album at the time, and I'm like scratching my head as to think, why didn't I buy this album? It was many years later that I picked up a used CD copy of it, and I still didn't really listen to it. I'll be honest, I know the '94 album, Is It Mind, Body and Soul, the one
Yeah,
after. I know
yeah.
that a lot more, but this one. So to go back. And I mean, this is down to Miss Ade Lane. She picked this album. Unfortunately,
Oh yes,
she's not with us tonight. So we've had to go with, it's been great going revisiting this. And there's a few tracks on here that I didn't listen to at the time that have really stood out to me and sound fantastic now.
Yeah.
Apart from the singles. But there was one other single that wasn't on this album that they did with a group called POV. Nam, did you remember POV?
I remember
back then?
Yes, yeah. But I don't know the
They
single.
did a track called I don't know. Do you remember that track, POV and Jade, All Through the Night?
I'm sure if I hear it, I probably might remember it.
That was as big as Don't Walk Away, where I was from. They were playing it on the pirate radios in the clubs. There was a big remix of it. But for some reason, they're both on Giant. Why they didn't put it on this album, I don't know. But that was huge at the time as well. So yeah.
No Wall, welcome. I think one of the things I would say about this album, D.L. Smith, first one to hit all the singles. Okay, so on the Mind, Body and Soul album. Yeah, so this was a J to the max. As I said, when I listened to, now there's two things about this album. Vassell Benford did all the production but one song, and you could sort of tell that the album, as you said, that it was cohesive because you had one producer producing 10 out of the 11 tracks, but when I listen to albums like this, I like to go back into the year it came out and see what was happening, just to get a sense of how this album then ranked among albums at the time. And let me show that I'm just going to run through a couple of the albums that came out the same in '92. We had Mary J's What the 411. We had En Vogue's Funky Divas. TLC's debut album, on the TLT tip. Prince had Love Symbol. We had High Five, Keep It Coming. We had the Bobby album. Sade did her Love Duets, which was her greatest hits. We had Boomerang soundtrack. We had the Bodyguard soundtrack. We had Brian McKnight's debut album. Love that album. We also had Shy, If I Ever Fall in Love album. SWV, It's About Time. It almost feels like it doesn't make sense that with all the Shantae Moore had the Precious album. We had Silk, Lose Control, that had Freak With You and Happy Days. Portrait, Here We Go Again. And Portrait's debut album came out. Let me see. Yeah, we had I'll Be Sure Sexy Verses, which Warner Brothers didn't really promote as well. Chucky Booker's Nice and Wild. So that's when he had Games, Why You Playing Games. Hard and Smooth by Rex and Effect, which was kind of snuck in there. And That's Effect. Jodeci's Come and Talk to Me. I think that was the greatest hits album or single. Criss Cross, Crossed Out, That's Effect. R. Kelly's Born Into the 90s. That came out then. I think Charlie Wilson had an album that came out with Stephanie Mills, Something for Real. We Soul to Soul, Volume 3, Just Right. I think Immature came out with On Our Wildest Worst Behavior, and Christopher Williams' Changes album. So Lorena, when you think of all the albums I've just mentioned that came out in the same year, along with Jade's album, and you think about the kind of music that we're getting today, and I'm sure you probably weren't even born when this album came out, but what did you make of that list of all the albums that came out in '92?
There was a lot of good music that came out that year. I was born. I was young. I think I was like 6, but
Okay.
I was around. There's a lot that you mentioned, like Mary J. Blige, What's the 411, and Vogue. So maybe it was hard for them to cut through the noise of what was happening that year because there was a lot of classics that came out. So I think the album may have been overlooked, but they have a lot of gems on this album.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Stevie, what did you make of the list of what came out?
I was in college at the time, and I was also I'd met my best DJ friend. He was in a record shop. So he was a DJ in clubs, so he was taking around clubs. He was also on the radio. He had a radio show on a Monday evening, very late. It was about 11 o'clock at night to 1 in the morning. So he would get a lot of these records sent. I remember him getting, Giant Warner Brothers sent him the Jade album to play on the radio. So we was playing it on his radio show at the time. It was a major distraction from my college course as well. Go to clubs and do, I was filling out one of my first music industry jobs that that I wasn't getting paid for was filling out PRS forms for when you're on the radio, you had to jog down what track you was playing. So you had a list of all the tracks that were played on the show, and it gets sent off to like this. I don't know what it was. It was some radio thing where the artist would get paid. So I was spending my evenings writing all these tracks down. But yeah, a huge year for me. Not having much money to spend, I couldn't afford maybe an album and a new single at the weekend. Just try to afford all these albums. That's probably why I didn't buy the Jade album. There were so many great albums coming out. I just couldn't afford everything, and I just didn't buy that Jade album.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. So I moved to America in November of '92, and so this album came out a week after I arrived in America to go to university, and it was and I think "Don't Walk Away" was released November of '92. So "I Want to Love You" came out in September, but "Don't Walk Away" was the big one that really that became the staple. So I listened to that song, and it just instantly reminds me of when I relocated to America, and so that song made a massive difference. But when I've listened to this album, I do wonder if the singles that they released after "Don't Walk Away" came out could have made some changes as to who the third and fourth singles are, which could have made a difference to this album. And I would also say that, and I don't know if any of you picked this up, when I listened to this album, I got vibes of the Janet album. And
really,
yeah, and Tanya, the one who's the light skin, there's some of the songs she sang in a tone that's very reminiscent of how Janet sings, which is one of them would be I Want to Love You. Yeah, I think "I Want to Love You." If you listen to it, in her tone is very much how Janet would sing, but the album didn't sound R&B. It sounded that type of popish R&B, kind of how Janet's album was like. But the Janet album came out exactly a year later. So it's almost, I would say, they almost listened to this and took some influences from this. Maybe not, but it felt like actually this album wasn't straight R&B like most of the ones I've said. It had the opportunity to actually go have a broader market because the way it was produced. Now they had songs like "Mr. Do Right," which were straight up the R&B charts, but a number of other songs were songs that could easily have crossed into the sort of like played on Kiss and stuff. Maybe I'm wrong, but did any of you guys get any of that vibe, or was it just my ears?
I'd have to go back and listen again.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, before I heard "Don't Walk Away," I'm sure "I Want to Love You" I'm sure I heard that first.
Yeah, that was the first single.
It was soundtrack, Class Act with Kid and Play. That's where I first heard the name Jade, and then they released it as a single. So that to me was like a Vassell. That production on that sounded like a Vassell Benford production.
Yeah,
because I was listening to what the previous stuff he'd done with LaRue and other artists. So that sounded to me like a proper New Jack Girly, New Jill swing track. And then by the time Don't Walk Away dropped, that was just that just went up into Mars, that record. You know what I mean? It was huge. You know, it still is today like a 90s. That still is today a 90s classic.
Emily.
You know, it's the test of time.
Emily.
Oh, Mr. Benson's. I didn't go to the Temple and Bolton. I didn't go. So, yeah, Benson. Did I ever go to the Temple of Bolton, that's a town about 10 miles away from me. No, I didn't. There is a record shop that I've been to a lot down there though. That I've had hundreds and hundreds of CDs out of. You might know it actually. The new Doja Cat album feels like a throwback to this. It does. There's some Janet vibes on the new Doja Cat album. I'm sure you've listened to that one, Lorena.
Yeah, I did. I was listening to it, and I do enjoy that album, but it does have a lot of like throwback feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I need to do that. Okay. So we're going to go through through our list. So there are 11 songs. So we go from number 11 down to 1. And I'll get to start. I noticed that that I made a slight change, alteration to my list, and I realized I didn't print it out. But that's fine. I've just got my daughter who's just brought it down for me. Thank you. So I've just got my updated list here.
Your assistant there, your assistant has come to your rescue, Nandi.
Let's come to a rescue. I had to give her a call to come down and bring it down. But I wanted to run through some of the singles that were released off the album and when it was released. So the first single is I Want to Love You. It got released in September 1st, 92. Then Don't Walk Away was released the 23rd of November, 92. Then One Woman was released in 93. And Mr. Do Right was the last single release of the album. So Hopeful has done her homework and really got into it. So my first single, my number 11 for me was I Want Your Baby. I wasn't too it was I didn't know if it was what they were trying to do with the production with that. It could have been a dance. If they could have made it into a dance track, it could have been, but it just felt like it was halfway here and there. Definitely a nice, interesting track, but it wasn't my favorite out of the 11 tracks on there. So it comes in at number 11 for me. Stevie, what comes in at number 11 for you?
It's very funny you say that because I did originally have that at number 11 because it does sound to me, it sounds like a demo of I Want to Love You Down. It sounds like that would have been the demo for I Want to Love You. Slightly slower, same production sounds, but with I Want to Love You Down, they've speeded it up and the chorus is stronger. But I've given it a few more listens and I've kind of from 11 till 8, I've moved them all around. Just couldn't make my mind up where to put them all. But you, Lorena, you've used the word cohesive. I'm going to use the word formulaic for this track at number 11. And I've gone with the ballad, Give Me What I'm Missing. Nice, but just very formulaic 90s ballad that. Just didn't really give me that oomph. There's a few more ballads on here that really give me the R&B oof. So, and that wasn't one of them. It's a nice track. I can listen to it, but it's easily forgettable as well. So that's my number 11. Let's go easy on Lorena tonight with the red and yellow cards. Now, it's the first podcast, so we'll give her a pass this evening. Won't go too harsh on her.
Thank you. Okay,
What did
so
you have for number 11?
for my number 11, which again, I changed my order many times, but this one kept going back and forth. So it is I Want Your Baby at number 11. Um, I felt the
Okay.
same way. I felt like there were stronger up-tempo songs on the album.
Hmm.
I just didn't really connect with this one. And then there's certain parts of it that I did like that was really catchy, but overall, it wasn't a track that I was going back to listen to like over and over again.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. That's really interesting, and then I like the reflection as well. Okay. Number 10 for me reminded me of and that's why I said I got this vibe of Janet's album, but not even the Janet album. Remember when Janet had a song called "Go Deep"?
Yes.
We go deep, and then and in that track she has, so you can hear the people in the background talking and stuff. And I got the same vibes with "Out with the Girls." It gave me the same vibe. Now this came out before Janet's two albums with where those songs were. Um, and also gave me, with Zane, everybody. It just had that same sort of vibe. But as I said, this album came out first. But I thought the Out with a Ghost Now not too bad. Um, but I thought there were still stronger singles on there. But the same, same production team, writing production team, um, put it in, created that. So that's number 11 for number 10 for me is Out with the Girls. Hopeful had that at number 11, and then she's got I Want a Baby with number 10. Stevie, what's your number
Interesting.
10?
This track has got a very mid-tempo feel. The beat's a bit offbeat as well, so kind of like you're trying to dodge your head but it's kind of like out of time. It's one of those tracks that had grown me, I think, with more listens. But I've started my top 10 off with That Boy.
Wow.
It's got a very offbeat, mid-tempo feel to it. And again, it needs to grow me more. I like, it's not. I don't dislike it, but I feel like it's going to grow on me. Nice, nice track.
Okay. Tanya, I agree. Number 10, 11 have to do my list tomorrow. Okay. She's an hour ahead of us out in Germany. So, yeah. Okay. Right, Lorena, what's at number 10 for
Okay,
you?
so number 10 for me is Give Me What I'm Missing. So for me, it wasn't
Okay, like Stevie.
yeah, it wasn't a strong track compared to the other ones that were on the album. So yeah, I
Mm,
got that at number 10, and that was pretty much solid with my list. It kind of like stayed in the same place.
okay. I think one of the things about that track was it didn't have a memorable hook.
Mm.
If it sounded like a nice song, but it felt like right now I can't remember the song, and I wrote down doesn't have a memorable hook. It just felt like they could have simplified the song a little bit that you just remember and sing it. So right now I can hear Mr. Do Right. I can hear even Out with the Girls, but I couldn't. So that's give me what I'm missing. I can't remember how the track goes now because, and I felt it could have had just simplified the song a little bit. However, it's not my number 9. Number 9 for me was why did I put it at number 9? Maybe because it was it was I felt it was a good remake. I felt like they added some things to make it a little different, but I still didn't. I still it wasn't as different to me. It wasn't Shante Savage. I Will Survive. I heard that and I didn't know that it was a remake of the Gloria Gaynor dance disco track. So this felt like okay, it's a remake like where Mary's doing. I'm going down. It's like they're almost not, they're not flipping the record. And I think if they had done that, it could have been higher. I must admit that the ladies sounded excellent when they sing. I think they gave me En Vogue vibes when they sing. But number 9 for me is Don't Ask My Neighbors.
Wow.
Just because it was as a remake, I just felt like
I think it was the Emotions. The Emotions original's
Yeah.
a killer, an absolute killer track.
yeah,
Vocal on that.
I think it and yeah,
Brave for taking it on. Very brave for taking it on.
and as I said, the gold standard to me will always be Shantae Savage. I Will Survive, where you just flip the track, where you're like, oh, that is just so different that you don't even think of the original. And unless you're doing a lately like Jodeci and you're changing the music and you're singing differently, I think it was just safe, and so that's why it's at number 9. Okay.
Wow.
Yes. Oh, hopefully you put Blessed at number 9. Wow. Stevie, what's at number 9 for you?
I think purely I put this, it's got as high as it can be at number 9. Purely for the production, just because I like the production sounds on it from a New Jack perspective. But it's that track that I said was probably a demo that they probably ended up mastering it and throwing it on the album to fill the album up. But it's I Want You Baby. So we're all agreed. Like that's the top end of our chart, that record, isn't it? I think we're all agreed on that.
Yeah, I've got to watch it. Yeah.
Number 9 for me.
Okay.
But it won't get any further than that, though. It won't get any further.
No, it's in the bottom 3, if there was ever a bottom 3. All right. Hey, Chim Beach, welcome. Lorena, what have you got?
Okay.
Number 8.
Is it number 8? No, number 9.
9.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so this is where it gets different for me. So guys, don't kill me. My number 9 is Hold Me Close. I just, yeah. I don't know what it was. I just wasn't really connecting with that song compared to other ones. So it went at number 9, but it's a song that was shifting in my list, but in the end, there it led.
Is that a possible yellow card for them? Sort of half-hearted yellow card.
But I would think that actually, especially, it's interesting just because of the how old you are. Not age, but it's interesting when you're listening to it coming fresh, as opposed to us who we're old enough to buy it and listen to it in at that time, how we would view the music and relate to it. So it's going to be interesting. And actually, I would have expected us to have very different vibes to how we connect to these songs. Okay.
Yeah.
I did have that a lot higher up, so that's but not a problem. Number 8 for me, I was surprised that this was their 3rd single, and I think they could have had a different single for their 3rd single, because I thought it was a nice track, but I didn't think it was. I thought there were stronger singles that could have taken the album into a different direction, and One Woman is at number 8 for me.
What?
Yes.
What?
One Woman is at number 8 for me. I'm
stunned.
And what I wrote down here, it started slow, but I wonder if because it was sung by Joe, so she sang this track, and I wonder if, because in the group you do have the 3 ladies are awesome singers. They have very varied styles. Their tones are different, and Dee is the Wanye in the group. She's the powerhouse vocals, and sometimes you hear her at the back doing the big with her big voice, and I love Tanya's sort of her type of falsetto, and Joe is really steady. But I wondered if I had sang One Woman, if we would have had a lot more oomph to it, and maybe and I might have felt it differently. But that was strange. But it was just, and it was just me. I mean, listening to this album, I just felt that One Woman, um, it didn't tug on my emotional strings as other songs.
I'm stunned, Namdi. I had that nailed down in your top 5, top 3 easily. It's got a very baby face feel to it, that song as well, I think.
Let me. Yeah, I mean Ezekiel. Everyone has said it sounds like it could have been written by Babyface. Yeah, it was. Was this the one that I thought was? Yeah, where are you? It does sound like. Yeah, it does sound like it could have been a. I did think it was going to be. It sounded like the Deal's Two Occasions.
It reminds me of a song by Pebbles. I can't remember the name of the song, but it reminds me of one of those songs.
A song by Pebbles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I listened to
it's the song with Pebbles and Babyface on a second album. I think it's that one.
Yeah.
I think it's that track.
Yeah. I listened to it, and as I said, it's just how I it was just how I related to the songs. Yeah. It was a beautiful song. Don't get me wrong, but it felt. I wrote down here. It felt slow. It was a slow build up, and it just took its time, and I got bored. It didn't tug on my emotional strings as a lot of our slow songs do. So yes, that is number 8 for me.
I think it's a great chorus.
Yeah,
it's a great chorus.
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's too. Yeah. Okay, Stevie, what did you put down for number 8?
I'm it'd be interested to see what other songs you put ahead of that. But, number 8, it's got a really good bass line to this. It's one of the up tempo tracks, but it's not a killer song. But I do like it's got more of like a Foster McElroy, like En Vogue bass line to it. But Out with the Girls.
Going out.
That's my number 8.
Okay. Yeah, not bad.
That's it's in the filler end of my top, in the filler end.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah.
Where you put One Woman in the filler end. What plan have you got tonight?
So what happens is that when we pick an album, I would have this on autoplay for a whole week. So it's just constantly playing for the whole week. And so it would just, and so what happens is the first time I listen, I just listen to it, and then I listen to it. And then I think by the third day, I'm now thinking, okay, I love this song. Okay, this is, and then, the day before we do this, I then will start to rank them. And then when I'm ranking them, I don't look at the writers or the producers, because sometimes I can get biased if I know the producer, and I will say, oh yeah, that's my favorite producer, and rank. So then it's after I've ranked them, then I look at the producer, and then I'll do another listen through just to be sure of my list. And so I rank them based on when I've listened to it for the past week, which ones tugged on my emotions a lot more. And I'm listening to it as of 2025. I'm not necessarily going back to 1992. Yeah, but a lot of people might remember might be rating this based on when they came out, and then really appreciating it. Then, yeah. Stevie, what did you put down?
It's Lorraine. I've just done mine, which is Out with the Girls at number 8.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So for me, I have the same thing, Out with the Girls. I thought it was such a fun track. It's like something I would put on a playlist to get ready to go out. So yeah, I have that there at my number 8 too.
Okay, so it didn't give you any vibes of Janet at all? You didn't? Oh, Zane, Everybody.
Like now that you
Okay.
mentioned that, yeah, it's like in the same realm of that. Yeah, I could see that.
Okay.
I'll tell
Goodness.
you what,
Okay.
Nanda Rain has got this chart spot on at the moment.
Well,
She's
because she's
got it
following
spot
your.
on, you know, really has. She's got it nailed. That'll be interesting to see now what the rest she puts. She's got it nailed on at the moment. No red cards here, no yellow cards.
No red cards. So my number 7. I thought I actually did like it as a song, but I said earlier that I didn't think. I thought when I kept listening to it, I said, "This is a nice song, but I'm gonna forget it tomorrow. I'm gonna forget it after I've listened to it because it didn't have a hook." And when you listen to the other sort of like ballads, like "I'm Looking for Mr. Do-Right," I can it that just felt simple. It felt like we're not going to sing too much. We're just going to focus on the hook, and that would draw you in. And I felt this one giving me what I'm missing. I it just felt like a long title, and I just felt like it just didn't. It wasn't memorable, but I thought they sang it beautifully, and I thought it was a beautiful track. And at the time, I listened to it. I think, oh, I like this track. And then by the time the next track comes in, I forget it. I just forget it. And I thought, it just doesn't have a memorable hook. So giving me what I'm missing is at number 7 for me. Because at the time I listened to it and enjoyed it, but I can't right now. I can't even remember how it goes. So
you've basically put a track that you can't remember how it goes ahead of One Woman, mate. That doesn't make
because I do
sense whatsoever.
Yeah, no, because I actually prefer the track. I felt I prefer the track, but I think it's just the fact that what was missing from it was the fact that it just didn't have something. It just they could have simplified it to make it a lot more memorable.
And you've put this
But
ahead
when I'm
of
listening to it,
My Neighbours as well, mate.
because
I give you a vote in every podcast, don't I?
Yeah. You know, I'm a big boy. I can handle it because as I said, I put a lot into listening to these tracks, and I make sure that as I said, I listen to it.
Podcast.
No, and as I said, it's the general vibe as to how I'm going, how I feel right now. But yes, giving me what I'm missing. Giving me what I'm missing.
Wow. Oh well.
Okay, Stevie, what did you put?
This got as high as number 6, and I bumped it back to number 7, and I feel kind of bad about that. But it's on the strength of the song. The song is a killer. It is a cover version. It's there's no way they were going to top the Emotions original, but I think they do it very respectfully. And I do really like the song a lot. Don't Ask My Neighbours has got to number 7 in my chart. A very nice, safe, respectable version. Just lacked the killer edge for me.
Yeah. I wish they flipped it. As I said, give a totally different vibe. I'm like, oh, I've never heard this before. But yeah, once it sounds familiar, yeah, it's almost, and then I'm like, what's the point of doing it? You know, you've already got, you've got. There's another track that I'm like, oh my goodness, this is yeah. Anyway, don't want to spoil it. Marino.
For number 7, I kept going back and forth. It was going in like the number 6 spot and then go to number 7 and back and forth. But I landed on number 7 with That Boy. So that is my number 7 pick, which was really hard. I really do like that song. But yeah.
It's like that. Okay. But yes, it's got, like you say, that offbeat kind of feel to it. It is a grower, that. I need to listen to it more.
Yeah, no, definitely. It kept growing on me the more I listened to the album. So I had a hard time placing that one. So yeah, that's where
I think I did have it at number 8 and I moved it back to number 10.
Okay.
So even I was like and ahhing about it, but again, I just because I didn't listen to it at the time, probably.
Mm, okay. Number six. So number six for me is I. This was their first single that they released, and Tonya sang sang the song, sang the most of it, and and I just appreciated because the same year we had SWV, amazing group, but they had just mainly Coco singing their songs, and the only other group that really spread the wealth at the time was En Vogue, and sometimes TLC, were mixed between Chili and T-Bar singing. But I think Jade is totally underrated based on the fact that they had three strong singers, and one woman was sung by Joy. Don't Walk Away was sung mainly by D, and I Wanna Love You is at number six for me, and it was sung by Tonya, and she comes with a very different tone. And I'm listening to this. I'm like, this is Janet vibe. And they came out before Janet, so I'm not saying they copied Janet. It's almost like it wouldn't surprise me if they. Okay, I have to be mindful of Jimmy and Terry because they're on another level. But it felt as if they they this they took some of this element to put for their album because it wasn't like an R&B track. It does sound like a track that Janet would sing and get away with. That was popish. That was not R&B. I don't even know how to describe the song. It didn't feel R&B. It felt up tempo, and it gives me happy vibes when I listen to it as well. So I Wanna Love You is at number six for me.
I'm trying again make sense of what you've just said there, Namdi. It's like it's got a Janet vibe, but it came out before Janet.
It did come out
you
before
make sense
Janet.
of that because I'm struggling. Help me out here, please. Help me out.
It was sung
six.
the way
Number six as well. What Namdi? What is going on with you tonight?
it was sung the way Janet sang on her album, her 92 album, a 93 album. And so it reminds me of that, but especially the way Tonya sang it vocally, it sounded like how Janet would sing. I'm not saying that
we've got an R&B celebrity podcaster on tonight. From Total R&B. And and look what you're doing, Namdi.
As I said, our love for music is very subjective. If not, we might as well just all have the same number one and two. But yes, so I think it. The best compliment I can give to this album is that I felt like it came out. Janet, Jimmy, and Terry listened to it and said, "Wow, this is a nice vibe. Let's lean on this for a bit." And Vassell just, he went to work on this album. And by the way, Vassell Benson, if you search him up, he's a film producer now. He is he's got over 5 million subscribers across his social media. He's doing TV stuff. He's moved away from doing R&B stuff. He's doing bigger pop records still right now. So he's making a big time now. Yes. Stevie, what is your number six? Jimmy Terry will borrow from others. They would probably say, okay, they made from borrow from others. I felt like they looked at they enjoyed this album and took some elements of it because it gave me that vibe. Yeah, Stevie.
Just a comment on the album cover. I do like the album cover. I like the logo and the colours. The Jade logo. It's very, very 90s, but I just like that stuff because I guess we're kind of stuck in the 90s, aren't we, Namdi, really? But yeah, nice album cover. At number six, I'm not sure whether the record label put them up to this, but the start of the record it's an En Vogue ripoff. It's an acapella. It's acapella. Very much, on the third line, it's very much very ripped off from En Vogue. And then the beat drops. Again, it's got a great bass line. And this is the track that I just didn't listen to at the time. It's really surprised me. And I'm like, why didn't I listen to this more? Hold Me Close has got as far as number 6, but I really like this track. Really, really like it. Really good, upbeat, En Vogue-ish type swing beat track.
Is he still in Focus rip-off?
The beginning, if you listen to it, it is En Vogue. It's complete En Vogue, the acapella. It's from their debut single. So, but Hold Me Close is at number 6, and again, I do like this track a lot. It was actually it was going to be in my top 5, but something pipped it in my top. I thought I had my top 5 nailed down, and then something else picked it, so it's ended up at number 6. Otherwise, it would have been in my top 5. Thank you, please.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Chim Beach was saying that the album it cut close, sort of, the same black and white with the color of their names on it. So I could see that. Yeah. Okay, Marina.
So for number 6 would be the remake that they did that you guys have higher on the list, which is Don't Ask My Neighbors. I love the original by The Emotions, but I do like the choices that they made in their version of it. I feel like The Emotions, when they're singing the verse, it's more like chopped the way that they're singing the words, like it just cuts each word. Theirs flows a little bit different, even though the original has like live instruments that are in the song, where this remake doesn't seem to. It's still, I feel, is a strong remix, so I have it at number 6.
Wow.
Yeah. I think if it's one of those songs that if I hadn't heard the original, I might have enjoyed it more, I think. And I wonder, I think it was Christopher Williams' Come and Go With Me that really just made me just think, actually, if I'm hearing something that's a remake, I need it to be completely different. And in the 90s, what they started to do is everyone started, and they weren't doing as much of that in the 80s, but they did a lot of that in the 90s, especially the first half of the 90s. They were doing, everyone had to first do it. I think after Jodeci's Lately, everyone had a Stevie Wonder remake on their album. Whether it's Rhythm in the Sky, whether it's Blackstreet Loves and Need, and stuff like that, and sometimes they got away with it and did something different, but a lot of times they just sounded exactly the same, and just a little sweetness with stuff. But I listened to this and I enjoyed it and appreciated it, but I could only keep hearing the original in my head. But you gave Jim Beat says good analysis, so well done. Number 5, okay, top 5. So when I get to number 5, and when it's in, this is like, okay, it could have gone anywhere. The songs. This is when I'm like, okay, I really love this side. I wrote down, I love the intro. I love the vocals. I had Optimistic written down here. Sounds of Blackness, Optimistic. It gave me some of that vibe. It also gave me some vibes of some Janet vibes. And I didn't think it was a ripoff of En Vogue. I think it showed that these girls could actually sing. And in them vocals, they weren't hiding behind the music. Because when I think of vocalists, En Vogue is always was always number 1, but I then think about, say, Brownstone, because they just used to sing like with the wow, hold me, and if you love me, that was almost screaming out. And when they're doing a live performance, I think I listened to this like, man, I didn't realize Jade could sing like this, because a song like Don't Walk Away is the music, the production that we remember, and yes, we heard the vocals in there, but we remember the music. I'm listening to Hold Me Close, and and I'm like, well, they can, not only could they sing, but it's the kind of record that would come out. They say the Brand Nubians, like this was like a British soul type of song that it didn't seem common for black R&B artists to have this kind of song and this type of tempo. It felt like a dance house, pop rockish type of track, and I think
Dance house.
I
Pop
think
rockish. Rock. How we got rock?
it well, pop rock was when you say pop rock, it meant that right
We
now
could cross over to pop rock. Is that what you mean?
it could cross
Like
over
that.
to
That
be
explains
able
it
to
a bit
kiss.
more, 'cause
It
there's
could
no rock in it. There's no
it could
big
cross
pop
over.
guitar in it, Namdi.
No. Yeah, pop rock was always like it could be on Kiss. It could be um it could be yeah. I'm trying to remember some of the artists who would normally perform during that time. But it ran with British soul, and I think I thought that this should have been um after Don't Walk Away. I thought they could have done this single because they could have, but this is where the politics of the music industry would have held these ladies back. Is because this was a song that actually, if they had just given it to their pop department, it would have been pushed across pop radio and done extremely well. But they would have pushed it to R&B. And if you're competing with SWV's Right Here and I'm So Into You and Mary's and What's the 411 and Reminisce, you can see that they're like, now that they're not going to be getting the same kind of airplay on the R&B charts. And I think that's why I think this album was a beautiful album, but I think they just struggled to really get it pushed. And the album's success was really off of Don't Walk Away and maybe Mr. Do Right. So I'm saying all this to say that Hold Me Close is at number 5 for me. And I really thought this single could have been the follow up to Don't Walk Away and would have done well. If it was promoted better, if it was even released in the UK, it would have done very well. All right, Stevie.
Basically, Hold Me Close. I'm going to say it because it took Namdi 10 minutes there. It took him 10 minutes to tell us what that record was. But I'm going to say it in 1 minute. Hold Me Close was an inferior version of En Vogue's Hold On. That's all it was, an inferior The acapella
is that
line,
your number 5?
They go, ooh, is like the last acapella line in En Vogue's Hold On just before the beat drop. It's exactly the same. And then it's got the bass line in it. I like the track, but it's purely based on En Vogue's Hold On. Right, let's get to my number 5. Again, I thought I had my top 5 nailed on. And there was one more track left on the album to listen to, the final track. And I thought the final track on the album, it's always hit and miss in it, the final track. You either love it or it's forgettable. But boy, I was like just blown away by this. It got as high as number 3. I moved it back to number 5 because I thought, I'm only just enjoying it this week. But why didn't I listen to it back then? Because it's blown me away. But it's the incredible gospel R&B track, Blessed. It's a stunning track. Absolutely stunning. It could be easily in my top 3, but it's bum rushed my number 5, so I'm going to put it at number 5, but it should be higher than that. But Blessed, great gospel track, brilliant ladies, brilliant track. I think that could have been a single, but the record they wouldn't have. They just wouldn't have took the risk, would they, with a gospel track? It'd have been number 1 on the gospel charts, maybe at the time.
No, but I think as I said, Optimistic was big. I'd Take You There by BB and CC with or BB Winans with Eternal. It would have, look at Mary Mary's song. So they could have called it inspirational. Yeah.
True.
Well, here we go.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was a cover.
Why didn't I know that? That's why it's so
Yeah.
good. That is why it's so good. It's a great song.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that one.
Yeah.
I need to re-listen to my Emotions albums. I have got them. I need to listen. This is the problem with having too much music, folks. Too much music in your collection. It's all there, but you just never get around to listening to it. My bad.
Lorena, what did you put down for your number 5?
Okay, so number 5, the top 5 was really tough, but I really did enjoy the song, and that's "Looking for Mr. Do Right." I think it's like one of the top tracks on the album. It's different than the other songs, and so yeah, that came in at number 5 for me.
The real quiet storm. The real
Yeah.
quiet storm. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like real R&B, that record.
Well, it's in your top 5 anyways. That's where it should be. In the top 5, definitely.
Well, I had it at number 4. Written and produced by the one and only quiet man of R&B, Mr. Anton Wilkie Stewart. He wrote it, he produced it. People might say, have I heard his name before? So he co-wrote with Timmy Gatlin, who formerly of Guy, Make You Sweat by Q Sweat. They also did When Will I See You Smile Again for Belle Biv DeVoe. They also did I Do Need You for Belle Biv DeVoe. And they did one with Ralph. I can't remember the song they did with Ralph. But yes, this was, as Stevie says, quite last night. Okay. But then this had all 3 ladies on vocals, Looking for Mr. Do Right. A very beautiful video. I thought, wow, this was, and this was the only song not done by Vassell, and but it was such an amazing track. I think, yeah, I probably would have had it higher, but the other 3 songs that are higher really pulled on me a lot more. Yeah, Last Night yeah, that's right. Yeah, so Mr. Do Right is number 4 for me. Love the song. I'm going to listen to it again before I dispose of the album and move to the next one. But Stevie, what's number 4? When I mean dispose, it's like it's off the playlist now.
Yeah,
I have to
on to the next album. Yeah, I know what you mean.
On to the next.
I got one of the big singles, number 4. I got One Woman, made number 4 for me.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they, it's a great song. The chorus is fantastic. Like I say, it's very Babyface-esque. I can see why they released it as a single and they gave it them remixes. But it's definitely a top five track for me. So One Woman, Jade. Really enjoyed that.
Let me even what isn't, but let me try and look at their yeah. I was looking at their and unfortunately that I was looking for their discography just to see how their singles did. Now this album went platinum, and then the follow-up album went gold. But in '94, you needed to go to platinum or double platinum.
Yeah, they want a man who just wanted one woman, Namdi. I mean, us men, we struggle with one woman, don't we? We struggle. You know.
Looking,
Two's nice.
I'm looking at the.
I'm only joking, folks. I'll stop there.
I'm looking at their singles, and I Want to Love You peaked at number 7 on the R&B charts. Don't Walk Away peaked at number 2. One Woman peaked at number 16. Mr. Do Right also peaked at number 16. And then from the Mind and Body, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 peaked at number 13. So, yeah, it doesn't seem as if as One Woman did as good as the others. But anyway, Lorena, what did you have for your number 4?
Well, number four, it did pull at my R&B heartstrings. I really love the song. So for me, One Woman came in at number four for me. That is like one of my favorite tracks that I'll probably still keep listening to. That's gonna be like on my playlist now. I really love this song. So yeah.
Very, very memorable. That beat.
Okay.
It's very memorable.
It is.
You're very memorable.
No, I didn't say it wasn't memorable. I said giving me what I'm missing wasn't memorable, but it was. But I love the song better though. Okay.
But it is
And
probably.
had you heard it before?
No, I haven't heard it before, but I think like had you mentioned that it does remind you of like a Babyface track, so maybe that's also another reason why I gravitated towards it because I love Babyface and his work. But yeah,
Mm,
I love that song. I kept going back to that song while listening to the album.
okay. Okay. And speaking of Babyface, I've just got connected, so I have to give a shout out to DJ Soulchild for connecting me with John, one of Babyface's producers. Did a lot of stuff for As Yet, John B, and so it'll be interesting talking to him about. He even did the songs for what's his name, former High Five guy. I can't remember his name now. High Five lead singer
Tony Thompson.
Tony Thompson. Yeah, he did the production on some stuff. Babyface was right, and he'll do the production. Yes, so that's coming soon. All right. So you had One Woman at number 4. So enter my top 3. I thought this probably, as much as I like Hold Me Close, I thought number 3 probably was one of their most powerful tracks. I was really impressed vocally as well. They really showed that actually as 3, they had the dynamics to really sing vocally. And it was, I'm surprised you guys put it very low, but this was hard. I almost got to, well, top 3 was as high as it could get on my list. And I really loved this song. And it was That Boy.
Wow.
That Boy made it to number 3 on my list. And I was like, really, this is, and I thought that En Vogue had really shown that they could cross over with their style, and I thought that they missed a trick by not doing this. I thought they missed a trick by not releasing the single, and it's not like copying En Vogue, but it's like saying that we could do this. And I think the challenge they had with this album was that because Mary and was doing the New York stuff. Then you had SWV, both from New York, doing their, in their how they were dressed and how they were singing, and you had an album which was not as hardcore R&B as those albums, and it was more marketable for a wider audience, and yet they were like, "Oh, which way do we go?" And I think that was one of the things that held them up. Maybe if they wanted to go more R&B, hip hop R&B, they could have gotten more of those types of producers to shape the album differently. But the way this was produced, I think they were probably looking at En Vogue and trying to go after that market, and then they didn't promote it that same way, because if they did, That Boy and Hold Me Close, they would have released those singles, and they would have probably sold twice as many albums. So Hold Me Close at number 3 for me. Oh, sorry, That Boy
And
at number 3
I
for me.
disagree with everything you said there, but never mind.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Number 3.
We could only know.
Yeah,
number 3 for me.
Right, number 3. It's the only single I didn't buy. Probably because there's no remixes of it, and I did check Discogs, and there's a nice, on the promotional CD single, there's a nice cover The back cover's got a nice picture of them that wasn't on the album. So from a collectible point of view, I might just buy the CD, promotional CD single, even though there's no remix of it. It's just the radio edit and album version. And the same with the promotional 12-inch as well. Radio edit and album version. But it's that quiet stormer sex ballad that I like when you get to midnight and you're getting in the mood, and it's looking for Mr. Do Right to do you right is at number 3 for me. You got to do the lady right, Namdi, or she'll leave
Mr.
you.
Do Right.
If you don't do it right, Namdi, she'll leave you and cheat on you. In fact, cheat on you if you don't do it right. But it's very, very important that you listen to this 6 minutes of pure quiet storm sexual bliss, mate. Get it right. As a man, you got to get it right, because they're looking for Mr. Do Right.
Definitely was, as I said, definitely Wokey is an amazing producer and writer, and really came out with a classic with that one. Okay.
Number 3.
Yes, number 3. So, I went with one of their singles too for number 3. It's like a very light poppy track. I think Namdi, you said it like brings like a vibe of happiness. It just reminds me of like summertime, sunshine, warm weather, and so that's "I Wanna Love You." That's what I put at number 3.
Okay.
Yes, definitely number 3.
And had you heard it before, or just when you were listening to the album?
No, I actually remember the song when I was younger. I just obviously I haven't listened to it in like so many years, but it just had a really good feeling to the track. I really loved it, and I do know it was with a movie too. I think that's kind of how, if I'm not mistaken, how they got together. Somebody was looking for girls to sing that track for the movie, and people had suggested those 3 girls. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that was the class. Yeah. Yeah, I can't even remember. But okay, yes.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? It does make sense, you know. They're in a movie. Let's put these girls together. Let's get this record out, and it worked for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But what did you make of Tanya's vocals on it compared to all the other songs? What did you make of her, how she sang it?
I loved it. I thought it was the right fit for the track. Like it just has a very light feel to it. So I think they made the right choice of having her sing lead on this particular track. I think she did a really good job. It wasn't overdone or anything like that. Or I didn't feel like it was missing anything either. I think she really nailed it with vocals.
And as I said, that's one thing I appreciated about them and the group, was the fact that they all sang and they had different tones, and they were able to showcase that. Even Mr. Do Right, the 3 of them also sang parts of that. And in a way, I would feel that as a group that they won't feel as if one person got the shine. Now, of course, it's different when the biggest single they have was led by one person, but the whole debut album, they all had a star and role in it and stuff. So yeah, that's a beautiful one. Okay, man, I wanted this to be higher for me. I thought it was one of my favorite tracks on the album, and and this is why when I listened to, we went through the entire album, went through the songs, I was able to say, man, these ladies can truly sing. And then one of the songs that really that encompasses how good they are vocally was my number 2. And I think, as Stevie has highlighted earlier, they probably should have released it. Blessed. I think when I listened to the album, and I was going through all the songs, a lot of them took time to grow on me. But this song, from the first time I heard it, I was like, wow, this is. And I was driving to work and traffic, and I'm hearing this song. In fact, that's why I made the video of this me driving with the song, because I was listening to the song and I was like, wow, this is. But I didn't. I was like, I'd hope people won't realize how much I love the song and to know that I actually rated this so high. But blessed, I didn't realize it was a remake because I've never heard the original, and so that's probably a difference. So when you take a cover, do a remake of an album cut, it's a lot different because it's, most of us might not have heard the original, so we hear this and it's like it sounds awesome. um these guys, her vocals really came through on this. You could tell that she was the powerhouse singer. But they were singing in together like a choir. Oh, beautiful track. I wish it could have been higher. I wish it could have been higher. But when I listened to it, I said, okay, top three. All of them, just put it there. Listen
You
to
wish it
everyone
could
else.
have been
Okay,
higher
it's
than
going to be
number two. I mean, that's very high, Nandi.
Oh, well, as I think, I wanted to do a Sheldon with this, but I thought I had to respect myself and put it at number two. So that's blessed. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. What about you, Stevie?
I mean, I can understand why you got that at number two, because I was feeling the same. It was just, like I say, though, I didn't realize it was a cover. How did I not realize? That's probably why it's so good. But saying that, the production is really good as well. The production has made the track stand the test of time. Number two for me is the first single, I Want to Love You Down. I love the beat. I love that bouncy, upbeat, happy. I love the chorus. I just like the whole track. It would have been number one, but something humongous. So
So what did you put down?
I Want to Love You Down is at number two for me. I think that's where it should be, that track. I want to love you down. That swing. Oh, I love that swing beat. Great memories. Great memories of that track for me. I've got the Max Import 12-inch single with the 6 mixes on, instrumental. One of my favourite 12-inch singles. That.
But also the fact that, as I said, it was. I mean, the way Tanya sings, it sounds. As I said, I don't know if you guys. So none of you guys thought of how she sang it and how Jared sings and that type of soft.
I didn't think of Janet at all. I'll be honest, Nandi. Really?
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Apologies. All right, Lorena, what did you put down for your number two?
So it's really funny because I was gonna put "I Want to Love You" as number two, but there is another song where I had it in my top three when I first started to put the songs in order. But the more that I listened to the album, I was like, no, this has to move up to the number two spot. I wish it was a single. I wish more people knew about this song, the remake that they did, which is Blessed. I just thought it was a phenomenal record. They sounded amazing on this. I loved the production and everything. And I also only discovered later on that it was a remake because I was familiar with Don't Ask My Neighbors by The Emotions, but I wasn't familiar with Blessed by The Emotions. So I had only listened to the original after. And I still think the ladies did an amazing job with this cover. It's definitely like one of my favorite songs off of this album. So that's what I have at number two.
Wow. How was their version compared to? I've not heard the original, so I only just didn't realize it was a cover until this evening. But how was their version compared to the original?
I feel it was similar. So when you listen to it, you're not going to see like a big difference because I think you always look for them doing something a bit different, like making it their own. But I think they just sound amazing. Like it really just showcases their voices. So you get to see them all, listen to them all together singing. And then you can tell like, how like Dee has that gospel background to her voice. And so you see the different, like some of them I find have more of like I guess a jazzy R&B tone, but I don't know, all together it just sounds amazing.
Yeah, Tanya. I think Tanya. Yeah. Are you
Oh, I
listening
just
to it
can't wait.
again?
I've got to listen to it because
Yeah, it's very
Mhm.
uplifting, but when you see how it's very rare that you have a group sing in unison, um, because in sometimes, especially in the 90s, they would have the lead singer, then everyone just sings the chorus. But they're having them sing in unison as a choir and stuff, and then it was jazzy and funky as well, and I was like, wow, where did this come from? And did I put down? No, I didn't put down Sounds of Blackness, but I thought that you could always have done an inspirational track, and it would have been something that it could have lifted people up. Maybe because it was a remake, the label would have thought, now we're not going to really push it. But I think if this had come out after Shantae Savage did I Will Survive, they might have thought, let's push our version, our version. But it was the last track on the album, so it felt like, okay, we just need one more track.
I'm
Let's
going to
just
sum
do
this
this.
blessed track up in one word. Now I've just listened to like 30 seconds of that original Earth, Wind and Fire.
Ooh, yeah.
Just sounds, the production is pure Earth, Wind and Fire. It's an absolute killer. The original, absolute.
Yeah, but it was written by Maurice
Earth,
White.
Wind and Fire.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. So it was written by Maurice White. So yeah,
But
definitely.
I will say too, I find obviously I was too young, but just noticing to albums and stuff in the 90s, I feel like they always had near the end of the album like a real like either a gospel
Gospel,
or something
yeah.
really uplifting to round out like the end of the album.
One classic album was Blackstreet's Another Level. And they've done all their No Diggity and all that stuff. And then it's like, okay, we're going to church now. Lord, it was like, wait a minute, you've just been cursing and sleeping around. And then it's like, okay, we'll make it all up now. Let's
Well,
do
it
a little
gets to the end of
gospel
the album,
stuff
they've
to
got to
run.
confess all the sins. The sin
Yeah.
and the end of the week, go to church, confess all your sins, and start the week again and
Yeah.
do it all over again.
It was the 90s. That was the 90s for you there. It was like, yep, yeah, we'll all pray and stuff before
I
we
loved
do
it.
that crazy stuff. Yeah, it was a different time, and we all accepted it. We didn't think anything of it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna go. I'm gonna go down from number 11 to number one, but I need to um, do a little change of one of my good friends, who I wish could have made it with us tonight. I don't know if people can see who that is.
Oh, you show off.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
you show off.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if people can see
We
who
can
that
see it,
is.
Andy. Don't worry. We can see it.
I will move away. Just let her have a. Yeah, I'll move away for her. Okay, so, and this is when she came to London last year. So, number 11 for me is "I Want Your
Where have you
Baby."
gone?
No, no, that's fine. I would die to be
We've seen
around.
it now. You can pop back up, mate.
I would die to be around as I'm reading it. Number 10, Out with the Girls. Number 9, Don't Ask My Neighbors. Number 8, One Woman. Number 7, Give Me What I'm Missing. Number 6 is I Wanna Love You. Number 5 is Hold Me Close. Number 4 is Looking for Mr. Do Right. Number 3 is That Boy. Number 2 is Blessed. And the only track that could really have been number one, was led by this amazing woman up there. She looks exactly the same as she did back in '92 when you do meet her. And
Hold on a minute. What
and
you just when you do meet her? Like we're all gonna meet her, Andy, you know what I mean? Come on. When you do meet
when
her.
you do meet,
yes, right, okay.
it's a pity we had we chatted for 3 hours.
Oh, you chatted for 3 hours
Off
as
camera.
well. Not only did you meet her, but you chatted for 3 hours.
We chatted for 3 hours off camera. She, probably longer than if I had done an interview, but and so yes,
I hope you
But
missed it. Wasn't too
yeah.
concerned, mate. Chatting to another woman for 3 hours.
Well, I mean, on most of my interviews are that long, but with Dee, she didn't. It wasn't. Yeah, it's when they came into town, and yeah, we got to chat just about life and stuff. But I think because there's a sensitivity around the group now, because Joy and Tanya are we're going out as the ladies of Jade, and Di has the name Jade, and but they're still haven't worked out differences about coming back together. So she's quite wary about doing any sort of interview that might stir the pot. So I had to respect that. So that is why it is hard to, she wasn't forthright, ready to doing any interviews. But number one for me is a song that mirrors my time when I arrived in the US in '92. And I listen to it now. I still can go back to that time. I remember it just felt to me like welcome to the '90s when I listened to this song. The drums are just out of this world. Um, the has vocals are just really out there, and it's just simple. And what giving you what I'm missing failed to do. This song just kept it simple. A few lines, and then the chorus, and the chorus, and the chorus, and it's Don't Walk Away. Um, if I'm doing a top 10 with female groups of the '90s, it will be number one as well. And so Don't Walk Away is to me one of the top five summer and '90s anthems by any artist. If you hear this, you know it's the '90s, and it still lasts. It's just like BBD's Poison. Don't Walk Away is at number one for me. Right, Stevie.
We got there in the end. We got.
Yes. Okay, Stevie's on to you now. Let me see if.
Yeah, number 11, I got Give Me What I'm Missing, the very formulaic ballad. Number 10, I got That Boy. Number 9, I Want You Baby. Number 8, Out With the Girls. Number 7, Don't Ask My Neighbours. Number 6, Hold Me Close. Number 5, Blessed. Number 4, One Woman. Number 3 is How Many Times Liverpool, the football team, have been beaten this week 3 times. They're getting a taste of what Manchester City got last season. It's great to see. Number 3 is Looking for Mr. Do Right. Number 2 is I Want to Love You Down. And my number 1 comes as no surprise. Still gives me goosebumps to this day, as it did the very first time that I heard it. And hear it in a club, dancing to it. Nothing else on this album comes anywhere near this track. It just doesn't come close to this track. It's just an incredible R&B track. It is a classic. It'll be a classic forever, and that's Don't Walk Away. I won't drag it out. Don't Walk Away. So there you go. Thank you.
Mic drop. Go ahead, Urs.
Okay, so my list is at number 11, I Want You Baby. Number 10 is Give Me What I'm Missing. 9 is Hold Me Close. 8 is Out With the Girls. 7 is That Boy. 6 is Don't Ask My Neighbors. 5 is Looking for Mr. Do Right. 4 is One Woman. 3, I Want to Love You. 2 is Bless. And of course, number 1 is a song that I still listen to, that still gets played at parties, that I loved. As soon as I saw the video, I wanted to dress like them. I thought they were so cool. And I still love this song so much, and it's Don't Walk Away.
The video's great. I forgot, the video. Glad you mentioned the video, because the video's fantastic as well, isn't it? When they're on them stairwell and they're singing, they look amazing, don't they?
Yeah. As I said, I listen to a song and I'm transported back to when I arrived, and I thought, wow, this is, and it was different from what everyone else was doing. It's always strange to me when you can do a big track like this, and there was no real follow up song as big as this on the album. Maybe for me, I thought maybe That Boy or Hold Me Close, but it just sounded so different and so unique. And I'm sure when they heard it, they knew it was going to be a big hit. Haven't heard any remakes of it, but I don't know if a remix would have made much of a difference of this song. Everyone's all a number one. It's very rare that we'll all have the same number one. Um, because but I wanted to be controversial, and if there was anything I would have put Blessed at number one and then said Don't Walk Away at number two just because of nostalgia. But unlike most tracks that are you'd always assume to be number one, this one doesn't change every time I listen to it. It doesn't, I don't get bored of it to say, yeah, I've listened to it too many times. It's yeah, it just feels like it's just, it's, as Steve says, one of the songs that you'd listen to it 10 years down the road and still say, well, that was a jam.
The start of it as well, that Din Lin.
Ding,
Oh, goosebumps straight away.
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
ding, yes. Ding, 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 ding. Oh yeah, yes. And yes,
You know, and that feeling back then when I had that, you know, when the records were coming out, and I just thought, it's never going to change. It's always going to be like this. It's going to be records every week coming out as good as this. And sadly, it did change. It did change, unfortunately.
I mean, Lorena,
I
when
didn't
did
realise that that's as good as it got. You know, that's as good as it got.
when did you start buying music?
When did I start?
Yeah, when did you start?
Well, I would ask for music like cassette tapes or CDs for like my birthday if like they asked me what I wanted, because I didn't have money. So like one of the first cassette tapes that I had was Monica's "Don't Take It Personal" or Brandy. Which
Wow.
one came out first? I think Brandy came out first. So it was those two, and then I know my first three were Brandy's self-titled, Monica's "Don't Take It Personal," and Mariah Carey's "Daydream." Those are like the first three cassette tapes I got because it was cheaper to get the cassette tape than the CD at the time. So I always got the cassette.
Wow. Out of those three albums, though, which would you say um, would be your favorite?
Oh wow. Oh, that's tough. I think I think it would be maybe I would go with I
Put on
know.
the spot there.
I think it's Mariah Carey's "Daydream." I remember like listening to that all the time and not skipping songs compared to Monica or Brandy's. I would skip some songs on there.
Okay. Is that the one with Dream Lover?
No, that was the one with Fantasy with
Oh, Fantasy. Yeah, with oh, did it?
yeah,
Yeah, when yeah. Okay.
The
All
one,
right.
but that was the one before, wasn't
yeah.
it? Dream Lover. The one before 94. Was that 94? That was it. I'm sure it was 94. Dave Jam Hall track. 94. Same, was it same year as Madonna Bedtime Stories? Or was it 93?
Um, you said Dream
Dream Lover.
Lover. Let me see. Mariah. Let me see.
It might have been 92. Gosh, it's one of them years anyway. 92,
Yeah,
93,
I
and
remember the
94.
video. I remember the video now. Yeah. No, no, no. Are you so? Is it Music Box? Was the album
Yeah,
Music
that was
Box?
in the music box, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was. Was that the one you got?
Or it had a black cover. I'm sure it was a black cover.
No, it was the one. Well, you can't see it. The one where that's the cover.
Right. I'm getting mixed up.
Okay.
That was the that had Hero and Without You. Is that the one you said you? Which album did you say you got into?
The one was Daydream. That was in 95.
Ah.
Oh, you said why did we daydream?
Yeah.
Let me see what came out of that one. Fantasy, one sweet day, open arms, always be my baby. Do 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 do. Yeah. Okay. Um. Okay. Yeah, I remember that one now. Sweet, sweet fantasy. When she's with old dirty
Yeah,
bastard.
in the amusement park.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then she had the one sweet day with Boys to Men. Um, I don't know if I really. No, I didn't really. Yeah, it wasn't until she came out with Butterflies that I was like,
Yeah.
okay, Honey and Butterflies and Break It Down. Um, but yeah, my favorite Mariah album is Glitter.
Oh, that is a good one, but it's so slept
What?
on.
What? You kidding me?
Yeah, of course
Oh,
I'm kidding you.
I was like,
You
that's just
kidding
so
me?
long album. It's not popular.
No, of course, of course. No, yeah. I mean, I'd always, I don't think I ever got a Mariah album. And I would have thought that out of those three albums, Brandy would have been. I mean, I thought Brandy had an amazing debut album.
She
You
did.
know, it was like
That 95 album you was listing there, that'll be the album for you, Namdi. That's
which
the more R&B.
which
That
one?
95 album.
Daydream?
The 95.
But not the Butterflies. The number 95 was Daydream. Yeah, it was one sweet.
No,
No,
the one after,
Butter.
sorry, the one after, yeah, Butterflies. I think that'll be your album. I
yeah,
think you'd appreciate
Butterflies
that
had
a bit.
Honey.
Mhm.
When she's had Honey. Um, but also had Break It Down and stuff. I mean it was fine. I think I could listen to Mariah's greatest hits more so than one of her albums. I never really got into that. I loved her singles and stuff. Say this week that Mariah Carey said she had a duet with Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
Um,
but it never came out.
okay. And what she said was that apparently one of his classics and the estate wouldn't let her release it. Um, well, okay. I'm sure if they're probably saving it for themselves, but that'll be interesting to hear. Okay. All right. So it was interesting. So rating the album, Stevie, out of a 10, what would you give this album?
I'm not going to rank this high actually, because normally I'll say it an 8, an 8.5, a 9. I'm going to go with a respectable and solid. I know Don't Walk Away is massive. I do like I Want to Love You Down. Looking for my top 5 is brilliant, but it's the rest of the album is cohesive but formulaic. That's the other word that I'm going to use, formulaic. So I'm going to go for the highest I can rank it is 6, maybe 6.5.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that is really low.
I know, I'm surprised myself because I love the album cover, I love the singles, but the rest of them tracks, they're not killers, they're just the fillers. Killers, and it's got a few killers and a lot of fillers, but I'm still going to give it a 6.5. I have a CD copy of it. I don't have a vinyl. I'm going to try and get the vinyl copy of the album now, and hopefully I can find a cassette tape as well to complete the trio off. So there you go. 6.5 for me.
Okay, Lorena, what would you give it?
Um, Looking back at the album, like I said, it's cohesive. It's a good album, but I do see how it didn't make that much noise because of all the other like really great music that was put out that same year. So I would rate this a 7. And that's what I would.
Okay.
Respectable 7.
Yeah, a
7.
solid 7 because I
Yeah.
think like maybe they were like ahead of their time a little bit. Like Namdi said, like maybe a lot of people did hear the album and took inspiration for it and then just made tracks later on. But I don't think it was a bad album. It's just it was competing against a lot that year.
Yeah. I would give it a 7, and it had one of the biggest R&B tracks of the 90s. and but the fact that I never listened to the album until last week says something about did it get lost in what was happening, because I've listened to SWV, I've listened to what's the 411, listened to TLC, so I've listened to and I own most of those other albums, but I didn't own this one, and I didn't.
Here's the thing, Namdi. Out of 10, what would you rate the single "Don't Walk Away" out of 10?
Out of 10, I would give it a 10 because it's a
Lorena,
classic.
what would you give it out of 10? The single "Don't
I
Walk
would
Away."
give that a 10. That's just a track that
So, like, it's interesting. The album we're giving 6 and 7s, but that single is
Yeah.
a 10. It's a stonewall 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
10 out of 10.
I think when you I think for me, forget the ranking, but Don't Walk Away, Blessed, and Mr. Do Right are definitely solid album songs. But I think, and this is nothing to with, because Cassandra Mills was the president of Giant Records, made history, be one of the first female black label presidents. She was responsible for Color Me Bad, and she had and MC Hammer, and she really put a lot in getting Jade, really pushing Jade. But I think with the production of this album, they weren't sure which direction to go, and I think that stunted, that kept it back, because if you push it as a on pop radio, then the songs make sense. But when you have "Don't Walk Away" and then you're then thinking, let's try and get the black market. The album wasn't written and produced for black radio, and so it was just here and there. But as I said, I have to say it again that the ladies are underrated as singers, because I don't think people appreciate them. I didn't think they were knockoff in Vogue. I thought that they were showcasing that they could sing just as well with the three of them, and they all had their own individual lead songs on the album, and that was great. But some of the other tracks were just there. So 7 for me. All right, guys. So Benson has given it a 4.5. DJ All Right All Day has changed it from 6.5 to 6 to 5.5, and he's gone back to 7.5. So we're not sure what that is, but I think if we average it out, it looks like a 7. All right, guys. Hopefully you
Please go and subscribe to Total R&B Podcast. Give Lorena some support over there on the channel. Please go and subscribe and give her flowers over there, please.
You.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys, for having me.
No. Let me try and get your channel, and so that we could send the link on there. There it is here. Yeah. So hopefully we'll get you guys. If you, thanks for reminding me, Stevie. So here is the link, guys. So please, if you can, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Derek, we didn't hear you at all throughout this thing, so we didn't hear your top 10. And Ezekiel popped in and out. Didn't hear much from you. Hopeful, thank you. We will definitely be back. I know next week. Next week Sunday we are concluding our Jodeci Boys to Men, which will be the battle of the up tempo. So whether it's the times we share together, or Motown Philly, or I can't remember the other ones now, but that will be next week Sunday, with VJ and Andrew Knight returning to the table. We will do another episode of the R&B podcast the following week, and we will come offline to discuss what album that is. But yes, please, if everyone could support Total R&B Podcast, because he's definitely doing amazing interviews with a number of up and coming R&B artists, which is always good to showcase. But anyway, from the three of us this evening, we want to thank you guys, as always, for making the show. and we'll catch you guys next week. Take care.
Hey guys, thanks
Don't
for
walk.
watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between.
Us for even loving us, on which I didn't miss you with.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
Trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No, okay, you're okay.
They don't understand what Jonas' voice winning all spirits.
Play it.